So good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another session on this platform to experience. It's a wonderful, wonderful day. I'm here with Mr. Abayomi, as you can see on the screen. I will do a brief introduction about this wonderful personality. He is an exceptional leader. And because I want to make this, I'll be selfish today. I want to make this about me just for a few minutes. Right. So there was a project we had when I mean, you guys have seen him before. This is the second time on this platform. So there was a project we had in the sense that he wanted me to do some presentations. I don't know if you will still remember this. It was another opportunity to work in another department, if he does remember. So it had to do with presentations and all. So Mr. Abayomi Soge at the time was an IT executive. He was the head of IT. So he called me into his office and he trained me in the sense that he wanted me to excel, even though I was leaving the department. But I prayed not to leave the department anyways. So even though I was leaving the department, he sat me down, right? Wrote some things on his board because he had a board in his office at the time. Said some things and asked me to present it. And he watched me, you understand, he assessed me and said, okay, Obina, you need to work on this, and that, and that. All right, and we'll visit this the next time you have any chance to jump on this. And so many other reasons why I respect Mr. Abayomi Soge, right? And it wasn't necessarily because he was how we say it then in Guinness is grandfather line manager or whatever. So it wasn't because of that. It was because of his sense of humility, his sense of, you understand, connecting to everyone that he sees, not just in the lower cadre, but even people at his level and higher than his own level. So without saying too much about Mr. Abayomi Soge, I'm going to allow him to introduce himself. So wherever you are, please stand up if you can. And
why?
Welcome.
Why?
Welcome.
Why do you want people
welcome, my Oga. Welcome, my Oga, my boss.
For a small boy like me,
thank you so much.
Please don't stand up. I beg you.
Yeah, yes, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me again. It's a pleasure. Yes, my name is Abayomi Soge, and basically, I'm an IT leader. I'm an IT guy. I said that. So I like to call myself an IT guy too, even though based on current trends in IT, I don't know anything again. No. all I do now is manage. All I do now is manage resources. So in terms of, I've been almost everywhere in terms of my skills, strategic leadership, strategic management, partnering, stakeholder relationship, partnering with key stakeholders to help them deliver their strategic objectives. I'm a risk manager in terms of skills, also policy development, IT policy development. That's also what I do. Making it happen for IT, making it happen for businesses, understanding the business needs and helping them to translate that into actionable objectives for IT. That's what I've been doing for the past 10 years now. Yes, over 10 years now. So that's me. Currently, I'm the head of IT and digital transformation for Grand Series Limited. Grand Series Limited is a subsidiary of USC Nigeria, and it's based in Jos, Plateau State. I also manage my business by the side, managing consultant for Western IT. It's a IT consulting firm. Also, their business is to sort of translate their strategies into IT imperatives, basically, and help them to deliver it, execute it, and manage the benefits out of it. I'm a family man. Married to a beautiful woman with three lovely kids. So that's it. If Obina wants to know more, then I'm open to you asking me more questions. That's it
Yeah.
in a nutshell.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir, for joining in. I mean, it's no longer news how much we wanted you back here. Because I mean, we discussed before we came online, I was telling you that it was based on popular demand. It was really serious for you to come back and have this conversation. And it's basically all about leadership. I mean, you had an extensive, even still having that time as a leader in the corporate world, and now you're an entrepreneur. Before then, you were a leader at your own house. I mean, your husband, your father, and all that stuff. So, how would you, for yourself, how would you define leadership for your own self? How would you define, based on your experiences in life, how would you define leadership?
I think the first key word from my definition would be influence, positive influence, not a negative influence. So the manager can coerce, you can see a manager walking and everybody's up and running around, running helter skelter, making sure that things are right.
Yes, sir.
A leader can do that. I won't say leader, a person can do that. And that's, I would say that's a negative influence. But what the right definition would be is somebody that can positively influence people to achieve an objective. When I say positively influence, the person is there mentoring, coaching, using his wealth of experience to guide people, leading, motivating them, being a role model, whatever they have to do, it's something that he can do also. At least he can show the way. Somebody that can get his hands dirty, not a slave master, somebody who will go and do it.
Yeah.
Or who is seen to be role modeling all the right behaviors that will help his team to deliver. And also ensuring that those behaviors that is role modeling is seen to be happening in the lives of those people that is working. There's no point you are doing well and then your team is not doing well. That means you're not going to be able to properly engage them and pass across those traits that you have. You need to be that person that can help to change people positively. So moving from one place to the other, you're able to take somebody from point A to point B in a positive way. And so for me, that would be the true definition of a leader.
Yeah. So you said that when you were introducing yourself, you're actually stationed at Jos. And
yes,
I mean, yeah. So before I even ask the next question, how is Jos though? How is Jos doing today?
Just is fine. It's been raining, so I guess the cold weather is about to come in a bit. So we're all getting ready for the cold weather. Yeah, just is fine.
Yeah, and I know we said I was going to ask you this question the last time. We're talking about banditry and all that stuff. I'll get into my question about leadership, but I don't want to forget my line of thought in relation to this. We're saying something about banditry, and I mean people traveling from one state to the other in the north and within the north central and stuff, and the things they experience on the road. I mean, what is your own view? I see my own stories from YouTube, right? So, but you are in Jos. What is your own view about all those bad news coming from the north central?
I remember when I was coming to Jos, people say, where are you going? What's your problem? Even me, I was ready. I said, no, I will go to Jos, whatever will happen. But Jos has been fantastic. Jos has been very good. You say banditry. Banditry is everywhere. I'll prefer to stay in Jos. I'll prefer to stay in Jos than stay in MC Oluomo Oshodi. The only time I've been mugged in my life was in Oshodi. I've not been mugged in Jos. And guess what? I move around anytime. Anytime. I stay in Rayfield. Rayfield is the it's like the Ikoyi of Jos, basically. And if you know how to manage yourself, you are not moving with the wrong crowd, you won't get into trouble. When it comes to banditry, some of these things, yes, I get to hear about it. It happens on the outskirts, villages, farms, but it's not just Plateau. It's Osun State, it's Ondo State, it's Ogun State, it's Lagos. I don't think Lagos is safer than Jos. I tell you, I'm serious. I stayed in Alagbado in Lagos, and I know what goes on down there. And I mean, compared to the way I live my life in Jos, I move freely. People move freely in Jos. In the right area, Rayfield, just south. If you want to try yourself, you can go to Terminus. Anything can happen to you there. And it's not as if it's that terrible. It's not as if it's that terrible too. Even Terminus. I mean, I was in Terminus yesterday. Now I moved around, and I was wearing this my jalabia. I was wearing this my jalabia now. So it's no big, People, everybody is respecting themselves now. People don't. Nobody wants to die anymore. I think the events of the past have taught everybody lessons. So I don't think it's not as bad as people take it to be. We are security guys. When they dish out security alerts every now and then, I don't get to see issues coming from those. It's from Alimosho, Oshodi, and I then forward it to my family in Lagos. See, they said something's happening here. Do this. So now I'm safe here. I'm okay. I'm doing well here. It's everywhere in Nigeria, and it's everywhere in the world. That's the truth. It's everywhere in Nigeria. It's everywhere in the world. I had a story of a couple that left Jos already during the crisis, and they got to Osun State, and they were robbed one night, and the family was killed. They didn't die in Jos. They died in Osogbo. So just play safe, be safe, get home on time. Be careful of your companies. You'll be fine. I'm fine. I'm fine.
Yeah.
And I told you, I said, even if I have to leave Grand Cyril for anything, or maybe I get an appointment outside the country and I'm choosing a base, and I'm choosing a base in Nigeria, I'll change my base to Jos. I will force my wife to come and join me in Jos. I tell you, I'm already telling her that Jos is our new. Jos is our new. Jos is a nice place, and let me use the opportunity to tell people out there: come to Jos. You will enjoy yourself. The fruits, the food, the weather. They take light. You probably don't bother because the weather is so cool. You don't even need to open your windows. The weather will be cool. The lights, but even the lights are good. No traffic. You can move from A to B. The farthest points in Jos South, under 5 minutes, you are there. You meet nice people, you relate, to go to officers' mess, the soldiers are nice, everybody comes out, we all meet at the club, at restaurants. I mean, one restaurant here now in Jos, very beautiful restaurant. Let me just show you. They call it November Bistro. It's a nice place. Very nice place. Very, very nice place. There are several, and if you want to do business, just people that like enjoyment, just come and set up a business here, entertainment business, hotel, restaurant, club, and you'll make your money. You'll make your money. Everywhere you go, you see soldiers, you just want to know who you are. As soon as you identify yourself, they salute you and move on. Nice place. Nice place.
This is so I know I asked this question earlier. So your property in Lagos, all right? Are you saying that
Obi, now why are you telling people that have property in Lagos?
Oh, sorry.
Which property?
Sorry.
Which property?
I am so sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. No, it's okay. It's okay. Well, what will happen to the property? Like, maybe I want to sell it. If I relocate, whether I want to sell it off or rent it. I mean, anything. No, that's no issue now. When the time comes, I will take a decision.
Okay.
People are buying houses there. People are buying houses there and relocating. It's things are going well. I'm not any ambassador. I'm not an ambassador to the Plateau State government, but I'm just telling you the way I'm feeling. Yeah.
So now you're working from Jos, and I know you work with your team as an entrepreneur. You work with your team remotely, even as the head of IT. There, you work with some of your team members remotely, and with family. I mean, you're the head of the house. You also work with them remotely. You communicate with them remotely and all that. So, would I say your job now? How easy or difficult has your job been managing things remotely?
It's been wonderful. It's been we have an office in Onitsha. We also have a Lagos base. It's been wonderful. I think the events of 2020 has taught all of us that all these things that we talk about, we need to see eye to eye before a team can be effective. The events of 2020 have just told us that we're just deceiving ourselves. A lot is possible as technology is advancing and giving us products that we can use to work remotely. We should. So even when technology was giving us those products, it was also difficult to sort of accept it. Acceptance was still difficult, and then COVID happened, and then we're forced to do something. We're forced to do something. I know that some businesses now, are just calling their employees back to the physical office. So there's nothing that Teams and WhatsApp video and Zoom cannot do. We're just deceiving ourselves. That there's something that you have to go to the office. You have to go to the office. That you have to do is a lie. Technology has changed all that. Your documents can be online. You have one Teams. You have OneDrive. You have a repository that you can use to share things. You have SharePoint that can help you with workflow. You take paper out of the way you do things, so you don't need physical. You don't need handwritten signatures. You can approve online. So technology has disproved the fact that you just have to be physically available to each other before you can be efficient. And when it comes to family things, of course, apart from the physical touch, I go home once in a while, maybe on a quarterly basis, at times monthly. Then we connect. Family connects. I just before I got on, I just had a video chat with my wife and kids in Lagos before I joined. So technology has helped. We're just deceiving ourselves that we needed that. Yeah, to some extent, of course, you will need that. Of course, I'm not going to spend private time with my wife through Zoom, definitely. So once in a while, you have to go back to Lagos, So apart from that, every other thing can be done online. So it's not a negative. There's no disadvantage in that at all. Not much that I can see actually. This can go well. This can run well.
Yeah. So sometimes employees now, let me say your team, teams, not just your team, every other team members and other leaders out there. Sometimes team members actually, basically they assist in driving a course based on how the leader, you understand, communicates or the value that the leader has over them. So tell me the implication. What do you think is the implication where, you explained this in our last video between a leader and a boss. The implication of you having that, it's not that sense of value about people. And let's say because you're not there, right? Because of the way you've actually managed them, they tend to do the job, right? So as against, let's say you don't have any good relationship with them and you're not there, right? They will tend to frustrate the whole process because you're not there to look at them. So what happens? What drives that? What is it that a leader does where if he's not there present, the job still goes on, right? And if he's not there, the job does not go on. What is that thing? What is that key thing that is between the difference between that kind of a leader and the other kind of
it's basically trust. It's all about trust. It's about see, the truth is even the bad leader can be effective at times. Even the bad leader. There's this book that I read, Good to Great, was given to me while I was in this year. So it sort of showcased organizations where the trait of the CEO was A, and in some other organizations where the traits of the leader was the other side, which is not so good. And the book was able to prove that over time, they may actually be able to deliver short-term benefits, short-term success. But they realized that in the long run, the culture that you would have been able to build in the business will be a culture of trust where people are free to go on and be themselves. And when people are themselves, that's when they are at the highest level of performance, not when they are being hounded and washed over and micromanaged. So you may get some initial success by being hard on your guys. Eventually, it definitely will have an impact on the culture of the organization. That means you probably be, without knowing it, breeding other guys that will be like you, that will then sort of met out the same way you have met the same way you are behaving with them, met it out to the other guys. And when that starts to pervade across the organizations, at some point it starts to bring up negative vibes across the organization, and then people are not free to get on with their work. They're only up and doing when they see you around. So if it's only you with a select team, it may not readily be visible across the organizations. But when you continue to do that and you continue to breed more leaders who you have role modeled, I mean, by chance to be able to do the way you are doing it, over time you then see that it starts to affect the organization in terms of the perception, and then definitely overall to affect performance, because there's also the study in terms of the values in the business, the way people see their leaders as a sort of linkage with even business performance. So for me, and then there was something that was the write-up that the way you make people feel when people come to the organization. These people are also leaders in their own right. They are husbands, they are church leaders too, and then you give them some very terrible behaviors, and then they go feeling bad. Who says the example of the man that wanted to kill himself that you told me before the program started? Who knows where it came from? Somebody must have made him feel okay. You mentioned the wives, So the way you make people feel is important as a leader. It's not just about the business results. It's about how would they see you? What's their perception about you when they see you later on in the future? I think we need to be bothered about that as leaders.
So basically, how you make people feel is what influences the person's perception about working and you. And you understand? So
exactly. There's that ripple effect. The way they feel is also the way they will relate with other people. So you as a leader, you have that important duty to ensure that you relate with people well, because it has that cascading effect on other people too.
So another thing, and let me even draw out another perception from this whole thing. Does leadership come from value or status?
Does it come from value? Did you say value?
Value or status.
So is the poor leadership that comes from status? Is the leadership that comes from value? It's what you can put in the life of the other person. That's true leadership. It's what you can make the other person do. It's the height that you can make the other person rise up to. It's the achievement that you can make the other person deliver. It's the feeling. Is the entire sort of feeling that you can give somebody that you can make him get motivated to do greater things, not just in the office or even outside. And then if it's the status, okay, the other fight is coming in, everybody behaves themselves. And then when you yourself lose that status, you become so ordinary. You become so ordinary that nobody wants to have anything to do with you. Nobody wants to have anything to do with you. So leadership should be about value. And leadership shouldn't also be about head of this, head of that. Even as a small team member, you are a leader in your own right. The things that you do, the way you relate with people. So that's the difference between manager. Manager is the head. the leader is the influencer, and anybody at any point, anywhere along that chain can be the influencer. You see some teams, you know that the leader is not the head of the department. The leader is somebody else within that team. Is the one galvanizing, motivating people, making sure things are right within the teams, getting things done within the teams, helping the other team members. So I think most times too, the misconception is that leader is the top man. The leader can be anybody. And when you see a leader that acts as if he's not the head of the department, or acts as if you see some leaders, they want to be in front. Some leaders prefer to be at the back. They want to be they want to lead from the back. They want to get their hands dirty and be the ones, rolling up their sleeves, and then everybody gets motivated to do the same thing. So it's not really about leaders. We have leaders everywhere. You are a leader. Look at what you are doing. You are influencing something. You are starting a brand. You are bringing. People are coming. By the time we look at this program in the next 1 or 2 years, it would have become something fantastic. That's why when you call me, I want to always come, because I know that when people are now looking at the video of the earlier episodes, they will see my face there. It's leadership. I was opportune to lead you at some point in your Guinness career.
Yes.
You are leading this. You are the one leading this endeavor now, and I'm humbly following you. It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much, sir. You make me feel so. I don't know. So yeah.
Don't cry.
So,
Don't cry. Don't cry. Don't cry.
So yeah. So even he said something about Guinness. So I mean, there was an idea that he brought. So I was just one of just the guys there, and he brought me to the office. He shared the idea with me, because I think I was managing the sales team at the back end. So he brought me into his office, and we sat down, and you understand, we laid the idea, and we talked about it. Then he said I should attend. There was this meeting you said I should attend, boss, that had to do with the sales automation. It was, if I could call names, Benga from the sales teams, and some other managers. I was just the little one there. And he asked me to go for that meeting and come back with reports. So many things that you did, right? So many, I don't know. In my head, I'll be like, Obin, are you good enough for this? But I don't know. So you are ready to go against the norm and get results. Why were you that radical? Does radicality comes with leadership? Because I was listening to one, it's almost time for elections. I was listening to one aspire. I won't call his name because I'm not trying to propagate that. So I was listening to what he said. He said he came into managing a state just like that. And a few months down the line, he was asked to leave because he wasn't doing things the way things would go. He was asked to, within his cabinet, even within his governorship cabinet, whatever, there are certain things that he will bring up, and they don't really align with that. It doesn't go with the normal thing in Nigeria, where money will go from here to here to here. Before it gets to the end product, you will see like 50 or 10% of whatever. I'm just relating it to whatever. So he said that he came in and there was no house for him to live in, you understand? So he went to his village to live. So basically forced him to get to meet the people at the lower level. He got to understand their pain. And presently, he doesn't own a government land in his state, right? Because it was all about doing things for the people. Maybe probably God planted it, made it like that, so that there won't be any government house. He can go to the village and rule the state from there. And because of certain things that he did, radical things that he did, the House of Assembly at that time said he wasn't sharing money. He wasn't giving them any money. And he asked them, he's paying salaries. He's paying gratuity. He's paying people, you understand, doing roads and stuff. So what does not giving any money mean? So they told him he wasn't giving any money to some people. He said he wasn't going to give to anybody any money that is not just going to come into the state and just collect money for free. It doesn't make any sense to him. And because of that, if he goes back to his state, he doesn't need an army to work on the streets. You understand? He relates it. He's just normal, like you said earlier. So where I'm headed to is that it does a true leader. I mean, I'm not trying to say there's one thing cast on stone to do as a leader. Does a true leader always go against the norm or just focus on conscience?
Okay, so so if you look at it from what the two things you have said, the norm and the conscience, definitely conscience and norm will conflict severally at different times. There's no way conscience, especially in the environment where we are, when something is a norm, but deep down inside you, it doesn't sit well with you, there's a conflict. So, but I guess what we're trying to clarify is what a leader should do. A leader should have the norm in mind, but be aware that when it goes against his conscience, it doesn't follow the norm, which is exactly what your namesake is talking about. I guess I know who you're talking about. I read the article, you know. So that's what the leader should do. No, leadership is not about systems, about process. Leadership is about people. The first thing that you should do as a leader is ensure that you are using your conscience to guide your people and you are guiding them aright. And most times when you are guiding people, when you're trying to guide them aright, you go against established norms, not standards, but things that some corrupt people have put in place just so that they can continue to enrich themselves, and you then become radical. That's where your question started from. You have to be radical about it, because the most important thing you want to do is that you want to protect the interest of the people that you are leading. If you are unable as a leader to protect the interest of the people that you are, protect the right interest, not the interest of the people aligning with the corrupt norm. No. So if you're a leader that seeks to protect the interest of your people, to get them to do things the right way, the establishment may have one or two things to say against that. And that is when you have to also put your feet ground as a leader, because the people that you're leading will also be looking at you to see what you will do, especially when it comes to the protection of their interests. They want to know whether you can fight for them or you're not able to fight for them. You're going to leave them on their own, because if you then don't fight for them, they won't fight for you. That's how you start to build your leadership value, your leadership brand with people. The people see you as somebody that will go any length to protect their interests, their good interests. If people say that you can go any length to protect their interests, they won't see you as radical. They will see you as God sent. It will be the establishment that will see you as radical, you know. So, and that's it. So you see, most times the problem is that the people that are out there will see a team that looks like it's not performing. You don't see a team that's not performing. You see a team that is forming. But the people external to your team sees a team that's not performing, and they expect you to apply consequences. But they are probably not aware of the stage that you are in as a leader with your team. It may be that you are seeing those times where they need to learn, they are failing, but you are okay because you see it as an opportunity for them to become better. As external people, outsiders don't see it that way. And that's why you need to put your feet on the ground. That's why you need to be radical. There are times, even in Guinness, where I've had people say, other leaders, or directors say, you over pamper your team. No, that's not it. When it comes to performance management, that's the time. That's the time to look at what has happened over the period and then give good grades or bad grades, as the case may be. But when directors expect you to be harsh on your people, to talk down on them as a way of managing their failures, no, that's not me. So I'll prefer to be the one to say, I take full responsibilities. When you see a leader that doesn't say, I take full responsibility, it does not deserve to be a leader. When you see a leader that's always ready to push the guy that has made the mistake, that has caused the business so amount of loss, and say, this is the guy in my team that messed it up. that person is not fit to be a leader. You must protect your team all the time. I did that a lot in Guinness. A lot of people didn't like it. They thought it was a weakness on my part. I have not changed. I've not changed about that. I protect my people. When they make mistakes, the mistakes are mine. When they get things right, then I push them out. He did it. He did it. So every time there's a mistake, nobody, no. I made this mistake. I was the one that didn't coach you enough. I was the one that didn't give you the right guidance. And if there's any success to be celebrated, I don't say I was the one that coached you so that you could be successful. I say you were successful. That's what most leaders see. The problem is that most leaders want to be the smartest guy in the room, despite the fact that they have accomplished. They are no longer doing technical things. There are leaders that still want to prove to the whole world that it was because of their technical brilliance that they were able to deliver something. That is not what is expected of you. The function of a leader is not to deliver that project. It's to be seen as the person that influenced the successful delivery through the management of resources. That is the one you should be proud of, not that you are the one that finally solved the technical problem. So even at times where it would probably be because of my advice, because of something I said that resolved that issue, I keep it to myself. When we need to celebrate it, maybe in our quarterly business, I mentioned the technician's name who did it, even though I probably did half of the job. You know, so I shouldn't be measured on technical achievements. I should be measured on how well my team members have become a success. That's it. That's a leader. But most leaders nowadays, they want to be seen as the fix it, as the smartest guy in the room, the one that cannot go and leave, the one that cannot go and leave, the business will collapse. You know, that thing infuriates me, honestly. I don't like people like that.
So So me, I understand that that's another phase where you are. And let's talk about leadership holistically. So, are you looking at running for office anytime soon?
Which office?
Political.
No, I'm not cut out for politics. My closest relationship with anything to do with politics was back in university when I was contesting for National Association of Computer Science Students. So I learned a very hard lesson. Even my campaign manager voted against me. So my campaign manager voted against me. And the other guy was counting, and everybody thought they assumed that, I mean, it was a done deal for me. You're a nice guy. You easily win this election. I got 3 votes, and the other guy got 90 votes. So I knew that from that day that politics wasn't for me. Politics is not for. If you have conscience, you can't be a politician. Honestly. If you have the will to treat people right, to give them what they deserve, to help them, to be selfless in life, to be generous, to ensure that your happiness comes from delivering happiness in other people's life, you can't be a politician. You won't be a success. You won't be a success because your conscience will be pushing you to say the right things and tell them this is what we're going to do. They'll just be looking at you, say, what do you mean by that? You can't be. You have to do it using another avenue. Maybe open up an NGO and start to distribute food freely for people and start to take care of their welfare. That you want to come through politics to make a change that will impact on the people positively, you'll be frustrated. Well, that's what I think. So politics is not for me. I can be a party member, and if they think that I can become the Minister of Technology, why not? Yes. I like that. I like that. But to go and move around like Oshibajo is moving around to convince people that they should vote, I don't have that time. I don't have that time. I'm sorry.
So,
except maybe if I relocate to the US and then maybe municipal stuff. You know, over there, I don't know why. Over there, people tend to listen to you to know what you have, and they vote based on that. But over here, just package some bread and sardine and put your picture there. They will vote for you.
But what
Even, I'm
brought us
sorry,
to that level?
I'm not doing politics.
That it would be lovely to, I mean, because of your, and because you are consistent in your approach to leadership. That's why it's not, that's why me, I know for myself, I don't know if other team members has worked with you. That's why me, I know for myself that that's your real personality. You're not any different from who I met in 2000 and I think it's 2012. You're the same person, right? And you were a leader even before I joined that business. So, so I'm still going to say this just for record's sake, and I'm not trying to set you up, sir, but just in case people go back to this record, right? They'll know that I said it, right? That you will be fit if you've led smaller teams and you've actually, because one time, I think we were twice service delivery team, the best service delivery team in Africa during my time in when I worked with you. Twice we won that award. So basically, it was something that you were doing right. It wasn't, you were not focused on outside to inside, you were focused on inside out, outside. You're focused on building the team internally and making sure we do things right outside that team. And I think that's a good influence when you bring that into the polity. I'm just saying you will do well to govern at some point, to lead at some point. So, but you're saying you want to just focus on ministerial positions. So, but let's say you hold that political position. How do you intend to change the course of Nigeria compared to what it is now?
Wow, you're putting me on the spot now.
It was not intentional. I just had it in mind a long time. I'm just saying it.
I think the most important thing is to try and get the trust of the people. That's the most important thing. Let me tell you, I can open up here. I don't need to hide anything. I was so much interested in the Buhari administration, and I believe that he was the right man. I still think he's the right man, but some mistakes have been made. I think the biggest thing that is required for good leadership in the political setting is communication, and I think that was what was missing. You see, you're going to use people to deliver, and then in a political setup, you are sure that even the people that you're going to use may not share the right traits or behaviors with you, because the party system is an amalgamation of so many people, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and you have no choice. They won't give you your vice president or your deputy governor. You probably won't have a choice. And even the governor or deputy governor, you already know this person doesn't share the same belief. This person is coming to do something else. Or there's really nothing you can do. So the best way to manage that, and everybody keeps blaming the president, there's the Senate, there's the judiciary messing things up. It's true. One man, that's somebody. I mean, it was yesterday that I was discussing with a friend of mine here in Jos. I said, is the military type revolution that can really rule this country? Maybe we had the bad luck of having the leaders that were not so good, even though they were military guys, but they didn't have the will. But we're talking about the revolution, the type that Jerry Rawlings brought into Ghana, where he was able to put a stop to things, deal with people, set the structure straight. And I guess it's based on that foundation that subsequent democratic governments in Ghana are able to move on. Maybe we missed it when we had military government in the Buhari, Babangida, Abacha. They would probably have been the best people to set things right, and then democracy comes and start to do things the right way. Because there are so many mad people around. There are so many more people
Yeah.
around. Even within your party, if you say it is strong to do it this way, they will say no. We came into this. Look at people spending money on campaign. They want to get that money back, and then they will then start padding the budget. Is that what they call it? Budget padding and things like that. So, is that the fault of the president? What could he have done if he decides to let EFCC do their job? EFCC too can be compromised. If they charge them to court, the judge can be compromised. The judge can be another party member who says no, it's not going to be this way, and they can frustrate things. So I said communication the other time. I think it's good that you address people every now and then and let them know what's going on. Be open. Let them know this is what you want to do. This is where we have gotten in terms of delivering it. This is why there's a roadblock. This is where the roadblock is coming. I expected Buhari to take over NTA and have his ministers have regular communication with the people. Amechi, this is what I'm doing. This is the next thing. Everybody that is interested in following up with governance will go and be listening. Let the governors also have a channel where they can broadcast what they are doing on a regular basis. Let there be interviews. Let there be presentations to people. People want to be carried along properly. And if they are not, they start to think of one thing or the other. So when you know that there are bad people in your team, the best way is to open up and say, these are the things that are going on. Yeah, come and say your own. Minister for Communication, Minister for Works and Commission, Works and Housing. Where are we? What's happening to the Second Niger Bridge? What is going on? You know, that's the only thing you can do. As a democratically elected leader, you cannot do more than that because that government is not even your government. The governor of a state can mess you up. The Supreme Court guys, judges can mess you up. What are you going to do? Everybody say Buhari, 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 Buhari. When bandits attacked people in the states, is it Buhari? What is supposed to do? We know that the states, the what do you call it now? The chief security officer for each state is the governor. So why are we shouting about it? I don't know whether I've answered it, but just to confirm that I cannot be a good politician. That's just it. This confirms because what I will want to do is, so even the thing about good leaders is not to continue to have non-performance in your team. You help them, you coach them, you guide them, and at some point you exit them. So I will not wait for a 4 year I will continue to keep a minister of whatever if he's not doing well. If based on what is communicating to the people about the progress of what we promised we would do before we came in, if he's not doing it, after a year now, when we do performance appraisal, now you should be out now. But you push him out, then the people that voted you in, that came through in, the sponsorship of your campaign through that man, something's go wrong. They will sabotage you now. That's the problem. That's why politics is not a good place for a sane person to go to. You can't have total control of your team. You can't. Your inspector general of police will mess up. There's nothing that you do about it. You will not know. How many cases will you undo as a president? How many cases should come to your table? You are supposed to be strategic. You're not supposed to be operational. And you have put people there to be operational about some of these things. And they are not. They are messing things up. What can you do? Even if the IG is a good man, his DPOs and who will send their boys anytime they are broke to go to the road and go and harass people to collect money. Can Buhari stop that? Can Buhari stop that? See, leadership is with us. Everybody's a leader in his own right. Nigeria will not be better if we don't start to do things. That change starts from me, starts from you. We're looking at the man in the mirror. If you look at the man in the mirror and ask him to change his ways, things will become better. It's not Buhari. Let whoever comes in, is it Tinubu or Shibaju, whoever comes in, we expect that. See, that's where the frustration comes in. They say they can do this, they can do that, they can do that. And they come in and they then realize that they themselves cannot force that thing to happen. It is down to the local government chairman, the councillors in the ward, who he has not met in his entire life. Over 500 of them that are influencing the polity and messing things up or getting things right. It's the job of the president or even the governor It's not easy. Me, I don't blame them.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that these guys will not have come in with the intention of getting things wrong. They didn't come in with the intention of getting things wrong, but they came in, even though because they had a desire to come in, they didn't know that desire will. They didn't know that their performance will not be based on their own will alone. Their performance will not be based on their own will, especially if they have to follow the structures on ground, follow Senate, make sure that they don't become undemocratic. It's only a Jerry Rawlings who was undemocratic can fire a judge who he thinks has not done the right thing. Can Buhari fire a judge? Can Buhari fire a judge? He can't. So until we talk about that, until probably that thing can never work until we understand whether it's truly democracy we want in this part of the world, or one badass leader who everybody will fear and get things right. Then we can then start to have some good leaders coming. It's still good leadership, but it's putting his feet on the ground and dealing with the guys that are messing things up. Let's leave politics at bro.
No problem, sir. So what would be even though people are listening from all over and all that, and there are certain things that are peculiar to different nations. Let's say politics is peculiar to, it's global. Politics here in the US is the same. You just have to go and talk to people, convince them, and you win an election. Corruption in the US is different from corruption in Nigeria or in other African nations.
Yeah.
But there's something that cuts across all nations, which is, basically leadership and leadership styles, right? I would not compare the Obamas to the Trumps and all that. And I will not compare the Obasanjos to the present Buharis. But what would be, why I'm actually saying this is not because, you've been a leader both locally and globally. And I'm not asking you this question because, you've been a leader and, you've worked in the corporate organization for a long time. But the thing is that you are also someone that's well-read. You know a lot concerning what is happening both locally and internationally, because the world is actually digital space now. So what would be your advice to leaders, especially in Africa?
Okay. That's outside the corporate world, politics everywhere, leaders general.
Everywhere, leaders. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So my advice would be that it's a big battle. The battle is far from being over. What we can do as leaders, for the good leaders, is that we should start challenging ourselves, challenging our colleagues who are also leaders, to start to exhibit the right traits, the right behaviors, traits, integrity, trust, role modeling the right behaviors within our teams, no matter how small those teams are. And what we hold this nation is, we should start to think of how we can produce more of ourselves. That is, if we are good, if you're not the bad ones. Once you start to produce more of yourself, the assurance then is that over time, we have people that are exhibiting the right traits, who have learned from you. It may not be something that we'll fix in this generation, but we're not even working towards fixing it, because I think we are now producing even more bad eggs rather than producing good eggs. That's why we have, in this generation, we have the syndrome of Yahoo Yahoo. Everybody wants to get rich quickly. There's ritual killings. It's about money. The young Nigerian is about money. It's because we've not tried to birth good leaders, either from corporate organizations or even in the homes. Fathers are teaching their children to go get it, whatever means, just go get it. Parents are not taking care of their people, their children, forcing their daughters to go into prostitution, forcing their boys to go get money as soon as, wherever and however. And that's why you have some families, the person that they respect is not the eldest. The person that they respect is the richest amongst them. So once we continue to have things like that, that means we are giving birth to more and more bad leaders. Because like I said, it's not the head that is the leader. There's a leadership influence all across. The youngest person in the family can influence things. Is a leader. He has the potential to be a leader. If you can influence things positively, you're a good leader. If you can influence things negatively, you're a bad leader. So the more we start to give birth, the more we start to produce leaders that influence negatively, that have negative influence about things of life, the more this country will find it difficult to get out of the current logjam that we're in. But leaders who are interested in getting things to happen to become sorry. This line for internet, please. I'll call you when I'm ready. Sorry, that was
Okay, sir.
Can you hear me now?
I can
Hello,
hear you now.
can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir.
Yeah. So leaders, okay, so people should be interested in. There was a time, I don't know whether you were born then, when we were doing the Kai or War Against Discipline. I think the military leaders back then had the right idea. Maybe the information was wrong. There was also MAMSA, mass mobilization, all those things. It was to change the thinking, the way we think as people. It was, queue up when you get to a queue. Wait for people to get things. Don't cut corners. Don't do this. It's about trying to change all of that within everybody. So if we can continue to do more and more of that as leaders, wherever you find yourself, be a positive influence on the other person, because the other person too is a leader. When we start to have more and more people behaving the right way, at some point there'll be a turnaround for the nation, and I pray so. That will be our portion in Jesus' mighty name. That turnaround will not happen. I think I don't know whether I gave the analysis at the last session that you have a box of balls, colored balls, and then there are 10 balls, and there is one red ball. Did I mention that in the last session?
No, sir.
Okay, so there are 10 balls. There are 10 balls in the box, or 100 balls. Let's just 100 balls in the box, and 10 balls are red, 90 balls are white. What's the probability of picking a red ball? Let's assume red is the bad behavior. So we have more of terrible people in the nation that if we pick one for a leader, the probability that we are picking a red ball. Let me turn that around. So 90 balls are red, 10 balls are white. What's the probability of picking a white ball? Very slim. What's the probability of picking a red ball? Very high. So all this Buhari is bad. Why is it that all through these years, all our leaders have been bad? Do you know the reason? Because we are bad ourselves. We are bad. No, we are bad. We are bad people. No, jokes apart. We are bad people. You juggle the box and then you pick a ball out and you expect that it to be white. Yes, you can be lucky and get a Jerry Rollins, but most times you will get your Michoge who is bad. You will get and guess what again? Out of the 100 people, 90 people will be voting for their likes. Once they see, even if your candidate is Obi, Peter Obi, I'm sure my own candidate is Osinbajo. Even if we think those guys are good, the delegates would not pick a good guy, because that means the source of their corruption is blocked if a good guy comes in. So why would I pick a good guy if I'm a bad guy? I won't pick a good guy. I will pick a bad guy who will continue to ensure that the corrupt structures will continue to favor them. We are bad in Nigeria. Everybody say, bad leaders. When they get there, they forget everything. It's how they will satisfy their family first, how they will satisfy their friends, give their friends contracts, how they will satisfy themselves, store money somewhere abroad, how they will buy houses abroad, how they will do things. They will forget everything. All this one that they are abusing is because the power is not on their side, and that's why they are shouting about things. Or their own friends are not there. You see, when their own side, they will say, yes, that's the right person. They know it's not the right person, but they know that's the person that will satisfy them. So until we continue to preach good leadership, good behaviors, integrity, and we start to change the color of the balls in the box, and we then have more white balls than red, maybe 90-10. That's why we'll be sure that even the poor man is a bad man. He only seems to be good because he's poor. The moment money comes into their hands, you see the way they will change their behavior. It's not a Nigerian thing, so it's not as if I'm eating on Nigerians. I'm also part of the whole thing. That's a world phenomenon.
Yeah.
So until we continue to actively, maybe government can assist in some change management programs like the military guys were doing back then through MAMSA and Kai and all those things, to continue to change the way the average Nigerian thinks. That you come out and I will queue on the line to vote, and you give me 500 naira and I will vote for the wrong person. Is that not madness? That's madness now. We are the cause of our own problems now. They are saying delegates, the governors will tell delegates who to vote for. Is that not crazy? So you as a delegate, you cannot say, after amongst all these applicants, this is the person that I think is eminently qualified, has the experience, and has the probably definitely has the will to do the right thing. You can't know. You won't know. And then they will not tell you, let's vote for this person, and you vote. That we have started getting messed up from it's true now. Nigerians will not be able to get people that they think is right. Even Nigerians themselves, they are corrupt. Why are we blaming the leaders? The leader is a full representation of who we are. Let's try. Let every leader, in whatever way they can, start to mirror, start to role model the right behaviors, so that they can bear people like them. Nigeria will have more good people that can take the right decision on behalf of the country. Let me stop there.
Yeah. So last words, but I'm going to say a little bit story. I'm going to use it's a story that I watched on Legit TV on YouTube. So that probably we use that to just give our last words. The person's name is Ganu Tony. She's a girl. She's 18 years old. She her dad died not too long ago. Then the mother left them. Actually, the mother left them before her dad died. And she was forced to live with her grandmother and step relations and stuff with her younger brother. And she went through some abuse at home. Then her brother left. Then some motherless baby took her up, and she now stays there. But one thing that stood out about this young lady, she's 18 years old, was that she said she was going to continue with her dad's legacy. That's why the name Engineer Ganu Toyin. Her dad's name is Ganu, her name is Toyin. So she continued. Her dad is actually a mechanic, generator mechanic. She continued with that, and you understand, and that's what she's doing currently. But another thing is that just for you
sorry, Obina, Obina. Hello, Obina.
Yeah.
I missed some couple of statements. My network here.
Okay, sir. All right. So what I saw, like, I think where it stopped was where I said she started living with her grandmother, and she got abused.
I got all that. She wanted to continue with the legacy of her father.
Okay, yeah. So she wanted to continue with the legacy of her father. Her father was a generator mechanic, so she became a roadside mechanic and named the auto shop Engineer Ganu Toyin Workshop. And she also goes to school too. She lives in the motherless baby's home. She makes like 5,000 for every day. She sends 2,500 to her brothers. Then she saves the others for her school and every other thing. The thing is that this girl is 18 years old. And I put a link of her video in our YouTube page so that anybody that wants to go see that video can go see that. So, sir, your last words to one, and the reason why I actually brought it up was because of your how you've managed people, right? People coming from all walks of life. You have managed them, you've managed to bring them together to achieve one particular goal. This young girl has some sort of a similar case. I mean, it's a common case in Nigeria where you see young people, you understand, they don't really have, some have that strong sense of the fact that, oh, I'll achieve something great, but they are not seeing it yet. That young girl where she is now, I don't think she has yet seen, I don't think she has an understanding that, oh, one day I'll become this or that or that or that. This is where I'm at now. I'm in my mother's baby's home. I'm a roadside mechanic. I'm earning 5,000 for every day, but it's not enough for me. So what would you say to that girl in the sense that she's leading her own course now? She's her own boss. She's paying her school fees and she's feeding herself at that young age. Basically, she's a leader for herself. What would you say to that young leader to become a better leader as she grows up? Final words.
Yeah. I think from the story you told me, I don't think there's anything to tell that girl. That girl is already doing the right thing. I mean, from what you said, except maybe I'm getting it wrong. She on her own decided to pursue the legacy of the father. She has She now has an auto garage. She now makes 5,000 every day. From what she makes, she's able to send half of it to her siblings to take care of themselves, and she can save. What else do you want to tell her? She's on the right path. She's a leader, influencing positively already. People we should be talking to should be people that will be in a similar situation and then they will turn to prostitution. People we should be talking to are people that will be in a similar situation and then they will go for Yahoo. That lady has already, maybe from the way she was brought up, from her own convictions about life, has decided that she will choose. And it's a choice too. All this being a bad leader, being a good leader, it's a choice. Even though there may be circumstances in our upbringing that may want to push us to one side or the other. If you have been pushed to the wrong side as a young person, you can decide that's why you see within the family, there will be a child that is good, there will be a child that is bad. They both went through the same environment. They both grew up together. That means there's another factor about your own self-will, what you know is right and wrong. And there's no way you say you don't know it is wrong. You always know.
Yeah.
So she on her own has decided that I want to be good. I am not bothered about my situation of life. I will be good. And then she's driving towards that. Thank God we now have a white ball. We can put that white ball in the box now.
That's true. That makes sense. That makes sense.
So, Obin, I'm sorry, I lost my network there.
Yes, so it's fine.
So I don't know if I have answered that. That lady needs to be encouraged. That's all. She needs to be encouraged. She's on the right path. She just needs to be encouraged that you are doing the right thing. Continue. You will break forth. You were telling me about you don't want to work for other people. She will break forth. See, it's not about what we do that brings breakthrough. It's not about what we do. If it was about what we do, we won't have akara sellers and pepper sellers sending children to universities, blah blah blah. And then if it was what we do, you will see some big guys. They don't have a house to themselves. They don't have a shelter for themselves. It's when they leave paid employment that they realize that they don't have any assets. So it's not about what you do. It's not about how much you make. It's about what your will drives you to do. She will bring forth if she doesn't mix up with the wrong crowd, if she doesn't mix up, and that lady, I don't know a full story. I don't know whether there's any NGO that is supporting her, working with her to ensure that she doesn't derail, because she has started well. She has started well, and she at the right time she will break forth. She should not despise the days of small beginning. It's a small beginning for her. Auto garage, it will break forth now. You know the way it works. It will bring forth. It's not by God just wants us to use our hands to do something, because when He wants to bless you, He expects that your hands are open and active so that the blessings can flow into the hands. He doesn't support anybody that is idle. No matter
Yeah.
that thing that you are doing, as long as you are not idle, you are like this, waiting for God's blessing to pour onto you. So for her, I will tell her, continue, surround yourself with the right people so that they can continue to motivate you. To the other
Yes.
people that are not doing the right thing, that are using their situation to say, I cannot do this, my parents are poor, so I need to make money for myself, and the only thing I can do is to do prostitution. And we should tell them that, no, that is wrong. This is not an excuse. Your situation can never be an excuse for you to turn about. It will always, should be always be an opportunity for you to turn out right.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
I still have a lot, but yeah, we'll just stop it here. It's over an hour now. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you. I really do appreciate your time with us and your advice, not just now, but your advice over the years. And to some of us listening, how to manage yourself, how to make decisions, because like you said, everyone is a leader. So you have the onus is on you to make the right decisions and to the right path. So thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Now I can have my dinner now. They've been telling me that my order is ready.
Okay, sir.
In case you want to know, I'm having sesame chicken with white rice, steaming white rice. In case you want to join me, but I know you can. enjoy yourself, man.
Thank you. You forgot your question.
But that's fine. Let me ask the question. When are you getting married? Obina, when are you getting married?
So I will ask you. I will tell you personally.
Thank you. Publish to everybody. Let us know so that we can come over to the US to celebrate with you. Obina, when are you getting married?
Soon, sir. Very soon.
All right, man. No problem.
Right.
Okay,
thank you, sir.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Yeah.